Hello my lovelies, and welcome back to another lazy book review. As you already know, I love my audiobooks because I get to travel with them, basically turning my vehicle into a school. As you already know, 2025 is coming to a close, so this will be my last book batch of the year before 2026. And I thought, oh my god, why don't I share my last little ventures with you all, and therefore we can all be inspired for next year. Because you know me, I'm all about growth, exploring, and becoming the highest version of myself. Because one day I'm going to get old and I want to have something to look back on. So I thought, what would the best version of me be like, and act like her today? Hence why I started doing my book reviews. Confessions of an Advertising Man. To be honest, this book was not my favorite. It was written a long time ago, so it was pre-internet and social media. I much prefer Grant Cardone's book Sell or Be Sold, but this book has some old school knowledge that even though it was written a long time ago, the core values still hold up to today. I like it. It was a lot more shorter and condensed than the other marketing books I normally do, because at the end of the day, as long as you believe in the product, like you buy it and you work with it every single day, you should be fine. Because if you use it, the other person will use it too, because people love word of mouth. Even though this book is not my favorite, I still somewhat enjoyed it. Atlas Shrugged is one of my favorite all-time books. Even though it's about trains and philosophy, this book is amazing. Even though at times in the story I was like, okay, get on with it, it kind of dragged, but that's not the whole point. It's about the conversation these characters have with each other. For example, you know how in social media it's always pushed that the rich people are bad people and the poor people are good people? In this book it's flipped. It says that the rich people are actually good people and the poor people are bad people, and it all boils down to thinking for themselves and taking accountability. Because all the people who are rich in this book, they take on full accountability. Obviously there are good eggs and bad eggs, but at the end of the day, no one got to where they want in life by just being humble. They stepped up, they took accountability, and they thought for themselves. Why do you think these rich people became rich? It's because they wanted a better life for themselves and their family. But for the poor people, they don't want to take accountability, they don't want to think for themselves, and they want the rich people to give it to them because they think they are deserving of it without having anything in return. So this book was very eye-opening for the fact that it's just like, it took a interesting approach to things. And I like the philosophy in the sense of, if you want something, go for it. Don't let other people drag you down or sway your opinion, because at the end of the day, you come into this world alone and you will exit this world alone. Dagny Tiger is my favorite female lead of all time. She is such a girl boss. In life, she much prefers to be independent and build something out of nothing. She's more focused on building her empire than worrying about society, boys, and family. She is very controlled, she's very calculated, she does have a heart, and the best thing about this character is she's not afraid or intimidated by other women. In fact, she much rather build them up. But the problem is, a lot of women back then were a little bit more shy and passive aggressive to other women. Granted, Dagny was in a very fortunate position. She was basically the princess of an entire empire, and she can choose whether or not if she wants to have a partner or not. And I think that is the ultimate girl boss move, to choose herself over potential male love interest. And I find her to be very inspiring, and I adopt a lot of her philosophy. And her philosophy is control your emotions, think for yourself, and take full accountability of your life. The creature from Jekyll Island flipped my world upside down. I have always been drawn to money books because no one in my family ever taught me how to deal with finances or the proper etiquette when it comes to money. I knew something wasn't quite right even after I read all these money books. I was confused. I'm like, why isn't the world changing? Why isn't people more financially literate? Turns out the system is working exactly how it was meant to. It's because the whole world is nothing but a giant pyramid scheme, and money doesn't exist because money is made through debt. This book is very pessimistic, but I didn't see it that way, because how I saw it was, if money doesn't exist, then that means I shouldn't be too afraid of it, because money is nothing but an exchange of value. So all I have to do is create something valuable and money will always follow me. So I shouldn't be afraid of it, but then again, I shouldn't be stupid with it. I should learn the game, because like what Tony Robbins says, you don't fight the game, you own the game. So that is how this book changed my mindset from being scarcity to abundant, because at the end of the day, the system won't change. Inflation will happen every so often, so you have to be prepared for it. So instead of looking at it as a negative thing, like prices are going up, think of it as, hey, look, the best way to beat this beast is to become the beast. And even though it is a bit scary, trust me, you have to do it. Nothing's going to change. And the reason why the world will never be at peace and why there will be a division is because the people in control, like the real people, they don't want you to know, because once people find out that money doesn't exist, the whole world will crumble. The House of Morgan was a very interesting book, because I was very curious of how do wealthy people stay wealthy, and that is because the whole family is very financially literate. When you boil this book down to its core, it's teaching you how do each generation transfer value and money down to the next. How they did that was the parents first made themselves strong before teaching their kids how to be financially literate, not only with their finances, but also education, tutoring, and life experiences. So one day they could surpass them. You see, the family name is a brand, and basically the Morgans were one of the most powerful families. Not the most powerful, but still quite big on the influence, because they're the ones that dealt with a lot of money and how they transferred it from royalty to politicians. It goes on, and but how they were able to get it in the first place was through trust. Throughout years and years of small little things, and over time it compounded into a strong legacy where even the most hesitant and most powerful people grew to trust them. So you see, your family name is very important, because they will either make you or break you. And how you're able to get it in the first place is through lots of networking, who you hang out with, who do you do business with, basically your reputation. And your reputation is one of the most hardest to build and easiest to break, because at the end of the day, people buy from other people and people vote with their wallets. But how you get that in the first place is you first got to make yourself strong. As long as you have a strong family name, a good reputation, and a good relationship with the bank, because one day you will need them, especially when you're dealing with a lot of money. But I'll leave you with this quote: millionaires don't believe in astrology, but billionaires do. JP Morgan. Misbehaving, the makings of behavioral economics. To be honest, this book is not my favorite, because I read a lot of psychology and marketing books, but this book already told me a lot of things that I already know. But if you're just starting out, I recommend this book. But the parts that did stand out for me the most was people don't really think about retirement until they're in their 60s or 70s, and by then it's already way too late. I hear a lot of debate of like, you should spend your 20s being carefree and traveling the world. I have no doubt that that is a great experience, but what about the 60-year-old you? What about the 70-year-old you? That's if you're in perfectly good health to continue working. What happens if something like bad happens and you no longer can work? Because at the end of the day, health is wealth. And I think this book really shone light on the fact that most people don't vote with their brain, they vote with their emotions. And don't get me wrong, emotions are very important, but you've got to think about it logically. So I want to start thinking of like, what would the older version of me be proud of? And that is to secure myself. And I think everyone should think about retirement. Power versus force. So this book took more of a spiritual turn rather than a logical scientific turn. Don't get me wrong, I think spiritual books have their place in the world, and I have been one of those people for the longest time have been very hesitant when it comes to spirituality, because I'm like, well, don't you just pray and just hope for it to happen? Turns out it's a little bit more scientific base, because once you move past the scientific of it, it becomes more spiritual. And I think this year has definitely shown me that spirituality and science is one of the same thing. It's all about hacking it. For example, power is where you give something energy, and force is where you take away the energy. So if you want to hack your body and your spirituality to give you more energy, do it for someone else that you love and you want to do it for, rather than being forced to do it. For example, if you want a Birkin because it's a status symbol, why don't you do it for someone you love, aka your mother, because she never had a Birkin, and therefore you're giving yourself energy so you can both enjoy a luxury bag together. The Old Money Book, How to Live Better While Spending Less. As you know by now, I enjoy finance books, but what you really need to learn is just the history and the psychology behind it. After that, you're pretty much set. But with the Old Money Book, teaches you how to live like old money, while with the budget you already have. And turns out it is quite achievable. Because in my head, I was like, when I make X amount of this money, when I achieve this, I'm able to buy this fancy bag and travel around the world. Turns out you don't have to break the bank to do what old money does. Most of the time, they just invest in good quality whole foods, exercising, going to museums, theaters, education, working off debt, and basically living below their budget while going to very affluent places. Because most of the time on social media, we're like thinking, oh my god, only the rich people can afford this. Turns out going to the theater or the museum is quite affordable for the everyday person. It's more so about the lifestyle and personal experience rather than showing off. So you see, it's not about being rich, it's about living a rich lifestyle. And I think in today's society, especially with social media, we forget what does rich lifestyle mean for yourself. And for me, it means going to affluent places, broadening my horizons, and expanding my brain on what is possible for me to enjoy right now. And I believe going to museums and theatre make you appreciate life a lot more, because life is beautiful, it just all depends on where you go. Influence, the psychology of persuasion. Have you ever wondered why people spend money on things that they don't need? And that is because the seller knows exactly what they're doing. So when they have a product, they hike up the price. So you as the buyer at first will be like, no, I will never spend that money. And then they drop it from like 20% off or some kind of discount. The buyer is more likely to then purchase said item, making them feel like they saved money, but in reality they did not. The seller is actually wanting to see how far you would go, and that's completely understandable because that is how the world works. You see, a lot of people, they just want to fit in, they just want to follow the crowd, and they don't want to stand out or feel like they're left behind. And that is understandable. But when you meet someone who is very independent and thinks for themselves, it is quite earth-shattering, because in this book it explains that a lot of people, they just want to feel like they belonged, and when they feel belonged, they feel happy, and how they do that is by following other people. The thank you economy. So kindness does go a long way, and it does belong in business, because at the end of the day, people buy from other people, and people trust more of word of mouth than any review on a screen, because People don't remember what you did, they only remember how you made them feel. And a lot of people will stick to a business or some kind of service industry if they feel like they are taken care of. Even though there may be a cheaper and a more efficient one, customers tend to stay with the business because of the history and how well they were taken care of in the past. Basically, it all boils down to the owner and the culture and the standard they set their business at. You can train a good person who's an idiot but can fit into the culture perfectly fine, but you can never train a wet sock to fit into the culture of the business. Because at the end of the day, the employee is only as good as the employer, because everything, especially in business, is a reflection of the owner. And there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Becoming Her, my journal, is in my website. And don't forget to like, comment and share and subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this. But until then, have a lovely day.